Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into an incredibly powerful tool for developers, the Google Gemini CLI. If you've been looking to bring the sheer power of an AI coding agent right into your terminal and, completely ditch those distracting browser UIs, you are absolutely in the right place. The Gemini CLI lets you effortlessly bounce between an interactive agent session and manually running your usual shell commands right there where you already do your best work. And as you'll see, it brings some serious competitive advantages to the table. Here is our agenda for today. First, we'll look at terminal-integrated AI coding. Second, global installation and setup. Third, the 3 authentication methods. Fourth, the VS Code companion extension. And finally, number 5, structured versus vibe coding.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, terminal-integrated AI coding. So what actually sets this tool apart from the rest of the pack?
1 million. Seriously, the Gemini CLI offers a generous free plan that includes a jaw-dropping context window of 1 million tokens. If you've ever hit frustrating limits with other AI assistants, that number should absolutely grab your attention. But why is it such a massive game changer for your projects?
Well, think of a context window as the AI's short-term memory. A 1 million token limit means the AI model can literally hold a massive chunk of your project's entire code base, plus your whole conversation history, in its head at the exact same time. You don't have to keep reminding it how your database is structured or what that one specific utility function actually does. It just knows. It gets the big picture right away.
And the capabilities definitely don't stop at just memory. The Gemini CLI is highly extensible. You can hook up MCP servers, which lets the agent seamlessly talk to external services and APIs, think Firebase or Nano Banana, right from your terminal. Plus, you can use prompt libraries and even script your own custom built-in commands to perfectly tailor the AI to your specific workflow. It's definitely not just another chatbot. It's basically a highly customizable development partner.
Moving on to Section 2, global installation and setup. Getting this up and running locally is super straightforward.
Okay, so if you're on Windows, your very first step is to make sure Node.js is installed. After that, it's just a single global install command. For Mac users, you can simply use Homebrew, while Windows users will go the NPM route. Once it's installed, you just cd into your target project folder, type Gemini, and hit enter. Boom! Instantly, the big Gemini logo is going to pop up in your terminal to say hello.
To really get a feel for the immediate power you've just unlocked, try typing this prompt. Tell me about this project. If you run this on a fresh code base, let's say a dummy Nux 3 Vue app called Food Smash, Gemini will instantly scan your project, read a bunch of your files, and give you a highly accurate structural summary of your pages, components, and testing frameworks. Honestly, it's like having a senior developer onboard you to a brand new code base in like 5 seconds flat.
All right, Section 3, 3 authentication methods. Let's talk about what happens when you run that auth command for the very first time. So, the terminal is going to present you with 3 distinct login options. The first one is just your standard Google account. This is the default, recommended starting point mostly because it's completely free and it gives you a ton of usage with the Gemini 2.5 model. Option 2 is an API key, which you'd grab from Google AI Studio. You'll want to go this route if you need access to the heavier Gemini 3 model without shelling out for a Google Ultra subscription. And finally, there's Vertex AI. That's basically the enterprise hub for fine-tuning and deploying models at massive scale. But for most of us just looking to learn and build, that first free Google account option is exactly what you need.
Which brings us to Section 4, the VS Code companion extension. While the CLI works great in any terminal, tying it directly into your IDE takes the whole experience to another level.
Actually, before we even talk about the extension itself, I want to share a massive workflow pro tip. Instead of leaving your integrated terminal squished way down at the bottom of your screen, move it over to the right panel in VS Code. This gives you a killer side-by-side workflow. Your code is front and center on the left, and your interactive AI session is running vertically on the right. It just keeps your workspace so much cleaner and makes reading the AI's generated code infinitely easier.
Now, when you run Gemini inside VS Code for the first time, it's going to prompt you to install its companion extension. Definitely do not skip this step. It unlocks 3 critical features. First up is Open File Context, which lets the AI automatically know exactly which file you're currently looking at. Second is Selection Context, letting it read the specific lines of code you've highlighted. And third, this one is huge, is Native Diffing. This allows you to see the AI's proposed code changes natively compared to your existing code right there, side by side, before you accept them. It completely takes the guesswork out of the equation.
Finally, Section 5, structured versus vibe coding. Now that you have this beast of a tool set up, how should you actually use it?
There's this great quote from one developer in our source material that perfectly captures this. "I am not a big fan of vibe coding, and I think it produces a lot of slop and boogie code." This really highlights a growing divide we're seeing in the dev community right now. Vibe coding is basically when you give the AI a massive, super vague prompt and then just blindly accept whatever it spits out. Relying on the AI to do all the heavy lifting for you almost always leads to messy, completely unmaintainable code.
Let's break that down a bit more. Vibe coding is essentially fumbling blindly. It's copying and pasting terminal errors straight back into the AI without even trying to understand them, and allowing totally unchecked generation. Sure, it might feel fast at first, but it falls apart so quickly the second a bug appears. Agentic coding, on the flip side, is the expert approach. It's all about nuanced targeting, asking the CLI to work on just one small feature or component at a time. It requires you to be a human in the loop, actively reviewing those native diffs we just talked about. By staying deeply involved in the development loop, when you eventually need to debug something, you actually know what your own code base does.
So here is the ultimate takeaway from this explainer. The Gemini CLI, with its massive 1 million token context and that seamless terminal integration, is a remarkably powerful assistant. But at the end of the day, it is just that, an assistant. So the question is, will you fall into the trap of letting AI write sloppy, unmaintainable code for you? Or will you leverage the Gemini CLI to architect a highly structured, agentic workflow that actually elevates your skills as a developer? The choice and your keyboard is entirely in your hands. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and happy coding!